Welcome to Calming Harp, the sounds of David's Psalms. I'm glad you've joined us for this brief moment we share together. I will be playing some of the music that has been brought out of the Psalms. My name is Steve Reese. I play the harp, and over the last several years I've been bringing the sounds of David's Psalms into recordings. You can find a lot of my music on my website, www.calmingharp.com. I have CDs available and MP3s. And you can go to YouTube. If you go to YouTube and then type in Peregrinati, Peregrinnatti, you will find hours of beautiful harp music that you can just play in the background and be calmed with the music that David may have played for his sheep at one time or another. So as we share this half hour, join me and enjoy the sounds of David's harp. Well, here we are, episode number 60. I've been enjoying this time with you all each week and plan to continue for a while, as long as you'll put up with me. Thank you for continuing to come back and share with me. I'm kind of in a unique position this week. I flew out to California to help my dad do some traveling. We're going to be headed east next week. And so I came out to California, and I'll just share a little tidbit as well. I'm also buying a motorcycle from my brother-in-law, and so we're going to be towing that back as well. So have a little fun along with it, and it's been a great time being with my family out here too. California's in bad shape. They haven't had much rain, and so if you all want to put in a little extra prayer for them to get some rain, it would be really nice. They sure do need it. Anyway, I was even thinking about what I just said and looking at a lot of the events swirling around us, both nationally and internationally. My topic this week is centering around, starting with several verses out of Malachi chapter 3, starting with verse 13. And right now, as we look on the scene of the world, it looks like there's a lot of evil people getting by with a lot of stuff without any accountability. And sometimes when you see that happening, you wonder, what is going on? When are they going to have to face judgment for these wicked acts? I mean, news breaks almost daily about some person in leadership position that has been caught, and yet we don't see any orange jumpsuits. And so we ask, is there anything that's fair? I know when I was a kid, my dad and I were talking about that when we were driving up. We're up at his cabin here in the woods in Northern California, and it's beautiful up here. Got a little bit of snow today. But we were talking as when I was a kid, I always used to say, "Dad, it's not fair." And he would say, "Well, son, many things in life aren't fair." And so this text in Malachi reminds me of how we should look at that. He starts out, your words have been strong against me. This is God speaking to us. But you have said, what have we spoken against you? What's the problem? And his answer back to us is, because you have said, it is worthless to serve Elohim, to serve Yahweh, to serve God, our Heavenly Father. And what did we gain when we guarded his charge, and when we walked as mourners before Yahweh Tzevaot, the captain of the Lord's hosts? What did it get us? We're still in trouble. It didn't help at all. Verse 15, and now we are calling the proud blessed. Not only are the doers of wrong built up, but they also try God and escape. One edition I read said they poke God in the eye and he doesn't do anything. So now here comes God's answer to that charge. He says, then shall those who fear Yahweh speak to one another, and Yahweh listens and hears, and a book of remembrance is written before him of those who fear Yahweh and those who think upon his name. Verse 17, and they shall be mine, says Yahweh Tzevaot, the Lord of hosts, on the day that I prepare a treasured possession. The Hebrew word there is segula, a set-aside precious thing. And I shall spare them as a man spares his own son who serves him. Verse 18 finishes off, then you shall again see the difference between the righteous and the wicked, between the one who serves our Heavenly Father and the one who will not serve him. So he's telling us that a day is coming when there will be a difference, and we're going to want to be on the right side when that day comes. I know myself, I often ask that question. Why are these people getting by with murder, essentially, and nobody does anything to them? The Justice Department doesn't do anything. And so it leads me to Psalm, because I always like to at least base something in the Psalms that goes along with our topic. And just going right to the first book of Psalms, Psalms 1. It's a short book, but it says, blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of God, and in his law does he meditate day and night. He will be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, and it brings forth its fruit in its season, and its leaves also will not wither, and whatsoever he does will prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind drives away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For Yahweh knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly will perish. There's the promise. There's two promises, one out of Malachi and one out of Psalms, that tell us that no matter how much it looks like the wicked are getting by without accountability, they will be held accountable. The day of reckoning will come. And when it looks to us who are walking in our Heavenly Father's instructions, and it looks like we're suffering, and it's not, doesn't seem to be making any sense, the promise is still there that if we continue to walk in his way, we will be found to be on the side of the righteous, and the reward of the righteous will be our reward as well. And I would hasten to add that the greatest reward is to have that wonderful relationship with Yeshua that gives us that peace that passes all understanding. It's something that the world cannot give us, and it's also something that the world cannot take away from us. It's something that's deep inside, a well of water that springs up into everlasting life. So I wanted to just give those thoughts to start with. I was out in our backyard just before I flew out to California, and the birds were just having a choir going on, just beautiful. And I know I may have played this piece for you before, but it just made me think of this, that I wanted to share with you again. That and I'm watching here in California, and even in Mississippi, before I left, the spring flowers are coming out. The winter is past, and we are now coming into this spring in which life is coming back into full bloom. And I always love this time of year because it's just a time when I just see God in everything. I just see his handiwork in everything I look at. And I'm just reminded over and over and over again of how incredible his creation is, that displays his creative power. And when I was a kid, that was something that I always, I guess you would have called me a naturalist or something. I always loved hiking out into nature and just observing things and learning names and just, you know, I remember a quote from John Muir. He said, "Let the children run with nature. All is divine harmony." And so I just wanted to share this clip with you comes out of the album All Nature Sings, and it's called The Birds. So listen to the birds, and then I'll have a few comments to close out with. that's the birds in the background, at least. The beauty of what our Heavenly Father has given us to enjoy. I just recorded those birds in my backyard there in Mississippi one morning. It was just such an incredible chorus going on. I said, I've just got to record that. Anyway, the thoughts that I want to leave you with out of this time that we've spent this week have to do with remembering. First of all, I think nature helps us see that our Heavenly Father is there. There's no doubt about it. Not only did he bring it into being, but he sustains it. Every little bird is breathing umpteen times a minute, and every breath comes from our Heavenly Father. You and I are breathing 12 times a minute if we're resting, and our Heavenly Father is giving us that breath, every breath. And everywhere you look in the natural world around us, the created world, you see, if you're looking for it, if you have eyes to see, you will see the Creator's hand and his design and his sustaining power in everything you see. And so at times when we're tempted to see all of the craziness going on around the world, internationally and nationally, in our political leaders, in things, in decisions that are being made, in all kinds of things that are impacting our lives and causing us to have concerns about where this is going. At the end of the day, if we can sit down and remember that our Heavenly Father is still in control, no matter what it looks like. And sometimes the TV or the news or the radio or the internet or whatever, if we dwell too much on what man is doing, and even if he's doing it wrong or even if he's doing it right, we're dwelling on what man is doing. We're not dwelling on what God is doing and what he's done and what he will do. And that's one of the things I have to keep pulling myself back to is, okay, that's happening, that's going on, but what is my response? What am I going to do about it? Where am I going to turn? Where are the answers to what I'm looking for? And the answer to each one of those questions is my Heavenly Father. At the end of the day, he is still in control. He's never left the wheel. He's constantly been the captain guiding the ship, and he continues to do so, and he will do to the end until we have the kingdom restored, the messianic kingdom of Yeshua being the King of all kings, the Lord of all lords. So I just want to leave you with that thought. It's okay to look around like the sons of Issachar and know our times and know what's happening, but let's not get too bogged down in it. At the end of the day, when all is said and done, as they say, more is said than done, but at the same time, turn your thoughts to our Heavenly Father and reestablish your faith that he is in charge. So I hope you've enjoyed our time together. Stay tuned, as I say. Little pun. I have many more songs to share with you. I have more to share about how this all comes together. And I pray that you will share and help people, especially those you see stressed, especially in these times that we're going through. Bring people to this calming and this peace and this rest that this beautiful music of the Psalms of David brings to each of our lives. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you next week. Many, many blessings to you all today.